Hello and welcome to another edition of The Nation. I'm Jared Rutnam, and today at The Nation we talk about something very interesting, something that's been talked about for a very long time, e-learning. E-learning, as much as it's helped a lot of people in the world, when employers go down to employing people into their workforce, there's always this talk about credibility, so on and so forth. We'll be delving into that. We'll also be talking about a special generation, Gen Y, and them being connected to the World Wide Web. Also Gen Z, we'll be talking a little bit about that. But let us just introduce you to Mark Eshvaren, who's the founder and CEO of Ridge Minds. That's RIDGE Minds. And he's here to talk about e-learning and also Gen Y, which is a very interesting generation. Very good day to you, and thank you very much for taking time off to be with us, Mark.
Good morning, and thanks for having me here, the talk show.
Always great to have someone here with a lot of insights, and I'm sure just speaking to you off the airwaves, I know you've done a lot of work with regards to doing your research and what you need to know about what's happening online. And it's interesting to know that there's just so much happening online, and you've been connected online since the 90s. You were very well involved in bringing together the infrastructure of internet in Malaysia. Yeah,
True, that's right.
Tell us a little bit about that first.
Started my career as a fiber optics engineer. Worked with one of the Japanese company,
Right.
and responsible to set up the multimedia per corridor, where the fiber optics were the
So if
new
you're
thing.
clicking on stuff like this, your phones and your laptops and your
Yep.
tablets, it's probably because of you and a few other people. Huh?
Yeah, basically we were setting up the infrastructure for all the internet unifies and all the fiber optics network
Right.
that you're using right now.
And what,
Yeah.
what was that experience like?
Oh, that was amazing. It's an interesting job. I loved my job, but I couldn't stay on with the job because I wanted to come out of the job scope and wanted to start my own. So when I was working in a fiber optics industry, it was like very intriguing. I want to know why the nation needs high-speed internet.
Right.
Back in 1997, when we are dealing with 33.6 dial-up modems, and today is the answer. Everybody is carrying a gadget, and everyone is connected.
Right. Do you think we've moved? We've progressed well from then to now.
I would say if you ask the Gen Y, they say 5 meg of internet is not enough for them. They say it takes them 2 minutes to download a movie.
Right. That's
And
too much time.
They're complaining about it. They want 30 seconds to download a movie.
Right.
Probably we are another 2 or 3 years down the road we will get
This is
that
just 2 or
speed.
3 years.
Yeah, another 2 or 3 years we get
I
that
was expecting at least another 10 before we get
Nah,
there.
the projection of the growth right now is like exponential because of information age.
Right.
The Gen Y, even the Gen X knows what's happening outside with the information, with the Google,
Right.
the internet. So,
But
basically
being well connected, does that necessarily mean we're well educated? Do you think so?
not so. It depends on what kind of content that you're looking at when you're connected.
Right.
It's like a double-edged sword. It's like a knife. You can use it for something good, and you can use it for something bad. So internet is basically a medium. It's
Right.
how we use it and how we harvest and harness from it.
Right. And
Yeah.
now looking at what's been happening over the in the past 5 years, do you think we've harnessed whatever information well from the internet?
Well, when you talk about social media, there's always been controversies
Right.
about the information exchange, not like during our time or our parents' time. When the news breaks, you only know it the next day, or you
Right,
wait
right.
for the 8 o'clock news
Right.
or the next day's newspaper. Nowadays, when something happened in Federal Highway, the next second is live fed into your Facebook.
Right. But
And,
I guess the excuse for those of us who are slow in giving out information say that we need to look for verified information, and which is true too, to a certain point.
Yeah.
You just can't keep putting stuff online and
True.
say, it needs to be verified first. But there's always this ongoing argument as to who's right on that matter. But we'll leave that for another debate, or rather
Sure.
argument, when we bring you in. In the meantime, we're talking about e-learning. We're going to get into that shortly, but let's talk about Gen Y first. You keep talking about Gen Y. And
Yeah.
you said they're a very interesting bunch of people, and you've studied them inside out.
Yeah.
So what can you tell us that we don't know about Gen Y?
Okay. To start off with, Gen Y started from 1980 till 1995. Okay, the generation which was born 1980 to 1995 are known as Gen Y. They're also known as the millennials. Okay, they claim this crown as millennials because they are a very special generation.
Right.
They are the generation who considers their parents as helpers. Right. Our generation, or Gen X, consider our parents as someone who has the authority to tell us something. But if you look at the Gen Y, they want their parents to be helpers to them, to make decisions for them, to help them to make decisions, not necessarily to tell them what to do. Right. And
no, they don't want to be told what to do.
they don't want to be told what to do. Right. And at the end of 1990s, when the Google and the internet boom happened, and this generation was ready to embrace this technology.
Right.
Somehow they were born with it. It's like a collective intelligence. They are born with the idea of know how to use a computer, how to use an iPad. If you look at babies nowadays, you give them an iPad, they know how to swipe. They don't break it. I'm sure you have seen this.
No,
right?
I've never seen this.
Yeah, I've seen that a lot.
Right.
All right. They know how to swipe. They don't break it. All right. So this generation also, they want to be independent.
Right.
Okay, at the age of 17 or 18, the moment they finish their school, they want to go out there in the working world. They want to start earning.
Right.
You can see a lot of young insurance agents. You can see young property agents. You can see people doing promotion on the streets. These are the Gen Y who doesn't depend on their parents
Right.
for income.
But with Gen Y too, from the time they get into the working world, they're very on their own. They like doing things on their own.
True.
But they seem to be struggling in that jobs are scarce. It's and now they say when jobs are scarce, you need to educate yourself or equip yourself to the brim with education, and then go out there and. Of course, that may promise you a better future. And do you think it's working out that way for them? Let's be fair to Gen Y too. A lot of them are working very hard out there, and they're finding it hard to get jobs. We say they're choosy with regards to jobs. I don't know if that's true or not.
Classic example of Gen Y would be Mark Zuckerberg, the youngest billionaire in the world, who holds the second largest country in the world right now, Facebook, right? And if you ask me, the Gen Y, they don't depend on job anymore. They want to be independent. They want to be entrepreneurs. If you look at online, if you look at Instagram, if you look at Facebook, you can see a lot of Facebook pages, business pages are coming up. Who are the owners of these pages?
Right.
Who owns them? Starting from a simple mobile accessory up to selling cars, right? So they are on their own now. They are finding their own way out to sprout in this society, to make it big.
Right.
For them, it's whatever that they are doing right now is to achieve something in their life and to be known to the world.
Yeah, they want to be known to the world.
They want to be known to the world.
They want to make a difference. They want to make their mark.
Yep.
But not all of us can make our mark.
Exactly.
Yeah. But with that, you say that the internet has changed the world, and you've seen that change in Malaysia from then and now.
Yeah.
And with that change, and with the subsequent generations that's come after the advent of the infrastructure of the internet, which was in the 90s,
Okay.
and where we are now, to where we're heading into 2016, and we're seeing Gen Z come into play too,
Yeah.
a newer generation. They're born with, they can't live without electricity,
No way.
right? Gen Z
Yeah.
can't. But no, the main concern is Gen Y and how they're moving forward. And of course, you are a Gen X, you're a Gen Xer,
Yeah.
and you've been in the working world for a long time, and you have all these entrepreneurial skills.
Yeah.
You want to pass that on to the next generation.
Exactly. That's
And let's talk about your experience first, and why you're so concerned about Gen Y, and of course their learning curve, so to speak. So let's talk about from fiber optics, you moving into something else, and subsequently becoming who you are today,
Okay.
which is a successful businessman.
Yeah.
We've got a video, an interesting video, but we're going to roll it later. In the meantime, let's just talk about that move you made, that paradigm shift in your life. Yeah.
The incident that really changed my life or changed the direction of my life is when I received my salary increment in my engineer's job. Right. It was 120 ringgit. I still can remember. 120 ringgit. I loved my job.
Right. As an engineer.
As an engineer, because we are into a very niche business or
Right,
job.
of course.
We are chauffeur driven. You stay first class and stuff like that.
Wow.
But the
You've
moment,
experienced all that.
yeah, at the age of 21, 22. So I thought I made it in life. I
Right.
thought this is it. You know, I made my family proud and my society proud.
First class hotels, flying first class.
Exactly.
Right.
Because you're
all I need is a pat on the back and I'll work like a dog. Yeah.
All right. So the thing which really changed my life is when I got my salary increment of 120 ringgit, and I was doing my BQ to Japan, ordering all this fiber optics equipment, and I saw one of the screw that I was ordering is 120 ringgit, and I was ordering about 3,000 units of those.
Right.
So when I look at my salary increment, 120 ringgit, and a screw worth 120 ringgit, it's like a message to me. You know? Somebody is sending a message. You worth a screw.
Right.
It's a titanium screw.
Can you remember when this exactly happened?
Back in 98, 99, somewhere around there, 2 years after.
Now, some
I'm
people
working.
can remember it exactly to the date and the time.
No, I can't
You
remember the
can't,
date.
yeah.
But that really changed my mind. And I told myself, I'm not going to work as a Gen X. I'm going to go out to the world and experience what is business, what is entrepreneurship. I want to get hit early in life.
Right.
Not to get hit when I was 60. Probably I can't take it.
Right.
You know, when I get hit earlier in life, so you have that experience. So I have about 15 to 16 years of business experience.
Right.
Since I made that decision. Because there's always ups and downs in life.
So this was in what year?
98.
98.
Yeah.
98, you made the decision to want to move out and to harness your entrepreneurial skills, so to speak, and move into the business world.
True.
So when you made that move, how hard was it then in 98? Because, you know, you hear ongoing stories like, you know, if you're Indian, it's harder, la, bro, you know. And was it that hard?
It's not much about being an Indian. It's...
but you hear this in the business world all the time,
we do hear that. But for me, when the world is connected through e-commerce, when the world is connected through online, for example, I like to quote Mark Zuckerberg. I don't remember, or I don't think he has stepped foot into Malaysia, but he's raking millions out of Malaysians by them paying for the advertisements on Facebook.
Right.
He's not an Indian, he's not a Chinese, or he's not a Malay. So what do we say about that? It's how we think. If you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it.
Right.
So or rather, I do it. So I don't class myself as a race, or I'm just a person.
As this person.
It's a brand. That's why I brand myself.
You're a global man. You think of
Exactly.
yourself as a global man.
It's a corporation on its own. It's a brand. You follow the idea, you follow the system, you can make it big.
Right. So you don't believe in individuality. Do you believe in individuality?
To a certain extent, yes. But for me, it's more like branding.
Right.
It's how you brand yourself. How the ideas that you're going to convey to the world. They say you don't need money to make money. You need ideas to make money now.
Right.
Right. There are a lot of ideas being brought out right now has made millions of dollars.
So once you stumble upon this epiphany that, you know, you're being paid, your raise was 120 ringgit, but you're buying 3,000 screws worth 120 ringgit each. Once that set in and you made that move, what were your first few ideas in the business world?
I've done trading. The first thing that I went was trading, electrical trading.
Right.
Then I went into oil and gas, call centers, tried out many things.
So when you generated, this was a generation of, or rather generating ideas.
Yeah.
And when you generated ideas for, say, electrical equipment, what did you do then?
Basically, there was just trading. After my job, I didn't know what to do. I left my job. I was buying and selling stuff.
Okay.
After a few years, that didn't go well. So
Yeah.
that's an experience. Paid some price for that.
Right.
Then moved into another business. So I was gathering all this information. I was paying the price. It's like studying in a college. You want to be a doctor?
Right.
You have to study for 5 years,
I mean,
6 years.
that's the Gen X way of living life.
Yeah.
Trial by fire.
Exactly.
Isn't it?
Yeah. We didn't have Google at that time to find out
Yeah.
how to be a millionaire.
Yeah. So you started doing trading, electrical goods. It didn't quite work out,
Yeah.
and then you moved into oil and gas.
Oil and gas as well.
But when people talk about oil and gas to me,
Yeah.
when they tell me, look, I'm in oil and gas, I think of this person driving a very expensive car, living in a very expensive home, living the life, so to speak. Because oil and gas is the be-all and end-all of making money, or at least that's what we think.
Yeah.
Is that true?
If you have the right connections.
If you have the right connections, we learn something new every day.
If you have the right connections.
Yeah.
Yes.
So did you
Yeah.
have the right connections?
Sad to say no.
No.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
you didn't have the right connections.
I didn't have the connections which might help me to become somebody in that industry. So I decided not to struggle with it. So moved on to e-commerce.
Right. So moving on from one platform to the next, was there regret? Was there remorse? How did you work? How do you work through these things?
I just remembered one thing. Why did I even started this in the first place? Because I didn't want to work for someone. So I rather do anything else except for working for someone.
You didn't tell yourself like, oh, I shouldn't have given up that job of mine. That never came back to you.
It has come in my dreams, but not in my real thoughts.
Not in your real thoughts.
Yeah.
So you've never regretted leaving your
No.
job and starting
No.
your own thing,
No.
even when you failed.
No.
Very interesting. We're going to
Never.
take a short break. We're going to come back and find out more about Mark Eshvaren. He's the founder and CEO of Ridgeworks. We're also going to find out about e-learning and how e-learning has grown exponentially, and of course which part of the e-learning world he's very much linked to. So we'll be talking about all that right here at The Nation. Stay with us. I'm Jared Ratnam. Hello Malaysia and welcome back to The Nation. At The Nation today we talk to Mark Eshvaren, the CEO and founder of Ridge Minds. Not Rich, but Ridge, R-I-D-G-E. Well, what is Ridge Minds? We'll find out now. What does that mean?
A bridge basically means pinnacle.
A pinnacle, okay.
Achieving the pinnacle. Minds, of course, you have to touch your pinnacle of your mind to go and see what is
I
there.
hope that happens to me someday when I grow up.
Yeah, I'm still finding the answer. And also it sounds rich,
Right.
which comes to
Like
economic
good feng shui, like ridge.
Exactly,
Rich
yeah.
sounds rich.
And
yeah.
it's also rich, R-E-A-C-H.
Right. it's
Reaching
also,
minds.
yeah, like
of
reaching
many.
forward or moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, we're talking about Gen Y, and you have some information for us about Gen Y and education. What would you like to share with us on that end?
Gen Y, basically, they are ready for this e-learning. That's my argument.
Right.
Simply because when they want to know something, where do they go to?
Right.
We used to ask our parents, we used to ask our friends, our neighbors. But the Gen Y, basically, they go to the internet, they Google it. They
Right.
want to bake a cake, they Google it. They want to learn piano, they Google it. They want to know something about someone, they Google it. And then they decide which information they want to take. Right? So
Of course, if you're a Gen Xer, you'll be saying, but I do that too, you know? Yeah, but think about this. If you're a Gen Xer, every time you come across some problem with your car, first thing you'll do is call one of your best friends, isn't
Yeah,
it?
true.
Hey bro, I've got a problem with my car. How do I fix it? Then he will tell you, go move on, tell you, hey, why don't you Google this and find this out?
Exactly, yeah.
But for Gen Y, it doesn't work like that, isn't
no,
it? Yeah.
no, they straight away go.
The
They
best
Google
friend
first.
is Google. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
They Google it first. And I've experienced this.
Yeah.
When I speak to a crowd, I can see most of them will be on their phone. You can't stop Gen Y.
Right.
Gen Y is a gen where you can't ask them to do something which, it's like in a
But
meeting.
does it agitate you or irritate you that when you're speaking to people, they're looking at their phones and
Initially, yeah.
Yeah.
But now I understood the generation.
right? You kind of understand the
Yeah,
generation.
I understood the generation. Usually I'll stop. I'll tell them you complete your work.
I'm pretty stern that way, especially if I'm teaching or talking to people and I see people using their phones, I hit it off their hands straight away. And I come from a background of martial arts, so that's the only way I know how to deal with these
Wow,
things. When I'm
okay.
talking to you and you're doing this, I see it as very rude.
Yeah.
But you're used to this, isn't it?
Yeah, we're used to it. I'm sure all the lecturers in the universities.
But do you
they
think
go-
information, while you're talking to him, do you think information is sinking into their minds?
subconsciously, yes, but consciously, I don't think they're getting it.
Right.
The reason I don't stop them is sometimes they want to verify what do I say. Today's world, you can't go out there and tell things that which doesn't exist, the next second people know how to Google it. I'm sure that some of them already Google my company right now. While
Right.
at home,
Right.
you know, they have Googled what's Rich Minds, what do they do? They got intrigued and they want the answer now.
Right. Right.
They don't wait for tomorrow's news. They want it the next second.
Or don't wait for this fuddy-duddy to end this conversation and it's going to take us another 45 minutes or so. But yeah, so it's interesting that these people always want information at the tip of their fingers. Right, right. And you see that they're prepared for e-learning.
Yeah, they're absolutely ready for e-learning. There's already websites which is offering courses online. And I personally know a lot of people who's doing these courses online.
Right. I do courses online too, and I never had an education. I'm now beginning to educate myself through Coursera. There's an interesting website. I always go there. Please, if you know anyone who don't have money and they're always saying need an education, Coursera is the place. Yeah,
exactly. They even offer degree online.
Yeah, I know Berkeley in America offers introduction to music. You want to learn about jazz. You want to learn about arguments and reasoning. Everything is in Coursera. It's Coursera. Yeah.
Coursera. So much so, the government has come out with the blueprint, education blueprint, and they have included Coursera inside.
What, Coursera is in the education blueprint? Okay. With this education blueprint, there was one that came out in 2013. That was was that the first blueprint? First draft?
The first that I saw. It's a confirmed blueprint.
2013, 2022, 3. And then there's apparently there's another one that's out this year. Or last week, yes.
2015 to 2025.
So we've got 2 blueprints up until now. To last us till 2025.
Probably version 2.0, the upgraded version of the first
so
one.
the first one is going to be done away with? Or are we going to be working out of 2 blueprints?
I'm not sure about that.
No, that's something for me to ask Dato Kamlanathan when we get him to the studios at some stage. So now we have this blueprint, and do you think in the blueprint it's also stated that e-learning is very important?
Absolutely.
Right.
If you look at the number 9 in the executive summary, it says it's not only e-learning,
Point
they're talking
9,
about
yeah.
point 9. They're talking about global e-learning. I like the word global e-learning. When I saw the blueprint, I got excited.
Right.
I told myself, yes, I was doing yesterday's business today. I mean, we are way ahead of time.
Right.
We were thinking far ahead of today's time. And that really got our whole team excited about e-learning.
Right.
And when we talk to people now, we have a reference point saying that the education ministry is talking about global e-learning.
So with e-learning or global e-learning, whichever you want to call it, there are pros and cons. With anything, there are pros and cons. Now, with e-learning, one of the biggest gripes about it, or one of the biggest complaints about it, is that people don't get the environment of a classroom, and they don't get to interact with people. It's a very solitary experience, and this would be one of the problems. But saying if you're already out in the working world and you're interacting with people, that wouldn't be a problem, isn't it?
That wouldn't be a problem. There are so many ways of people can get connected right now. This is education. When you talk about education, we want you to be focused. You can talk about a classroom of 20 or 30 people, right, listening to the lecturer, teaching them probably business, bachelor's in business administration, a module. But when you talk about e-learning, you're communicating with the global village, the global community.
Right.
At that point of time when you're doing the module, let's say module 2.1, there could be hundreds of thousands of people doing the same module, and they are interacting on the forum,
right,
which concurrently runs at the site on the website. So basically you're connecting with the world right now instead of the classroom of 20 people.
Okay, I know you're all for e-learning, but I know you also know some downsides about e-learning that we don't, and I would like for you to share it with us.
I would say SPM lever. Okay, if they want to experience this 100% e-learning, they would miss out that classroom setup, studying in a university. So what we suggest is you continue your university education. At the same time, you also can do your e-learning programs. So when you graduate, you are graduating as a double degree student.
Right.
So in the marketplace, when you go out look for a job, you're holding a double degree, I'm holding a degree. So who will get the job?
Right.
the double degree, right? No matter where you get it from, you have done something extra for yourself
Right. Through e-learning.
through e-learning.
Yeah, but we're talking about the downsides of e-learning. Okay, we're going to talk about the positives of it in a short while. But when you look at e-learning, why has e-learning gotten such a bad rap? Like, if you go for an interview, like this was an online course. So, it's first thing the interviewer will ask you if you see a certificate. Oh, was this an online course? Oh, I see. Okay, they're not interested in it straight away.
Okay.
As an interviewer or someone who does interviews too, I probably do the same thing. And I think now that I know that there's a lot of good points to e-learning, and after being introduced to Coursera and subsequently gaining some education from it, I think e-learning is good.
Yeah,
But but why do we have so much negativity about it, especially employers?
Okay. I would like to quote examples to make people understand. You look at banking.
Okay.
They say it's not safe. When you talk about online banking, people are afraid about online banking. What happens if my money goes missing? Right. But they have the security to tighten it up. Right. For e-learning, yes, it's not being accepted 100% because the baby boomers are still there doing the interviews. The companies are owned by the baby boomers. The Gen X slowly coming in.
Right.
In fact, they're already there. They understood. And these two generations it might take them another 5 years to understand what is e-learning. All right. The downside would be probably they might ask you, is this valid? Are you the one who did this program?
Yeah, but the point is, not the point is, one of the other things is that people buy certificates online, and that becomes a problem.
Very good question.
Yeah.
Even colleges, off the record, they sell certificates.
Right.
How do we argue about that? So I have that inquiry coming into me. Can I buy certificates? I tell them no.
Yeah, I'd like to buy one. Oops. No. Just kidding.
I tell them no. You have to go through the module because it's online. It can be monitored. You cannot skip the modules.
Yeah.
Physically, you can buy a certificate, but online you have to complete the module.
Right.
For you to be conferred a certificate.
Right. There's also another part of that argument that I'd like to bring up, or rather, just to understand. We're going to come back with that.
Okay.
I will take a short break, and when we come back, we'll find out more from Mark Eshvaren. Thank you very much for joining us. This is The Nation. Hello Malaysia, and welcome back to The Nation. We're currently talking about e-learning, Generation Y, and of course Ridgeminds, the CEO and founder of Ridgeminds joins us today at The Nation, Mark Eshvaren. And a while ago we were talking about e-learning and the downsides of e-learning. One of the major problems with e-learning is when you go for an interview, you're certified or you receive a degree or diploma, or e-learning diploma or degree, it's not taken seriously simply because people think it's easily available. You can buy them, and there's not enough credibility when it comes to these certificates. So our perception's changing with regards to that.
Definitely.
I know of some friends who study online, and they, burn the midnight oil to get it done, and come out with a legit degree or diploma, but it holds no water. You go for an interview and say, it's online, it doesn't make a difference to us.
Yeah, that's where the accreditation councils are coming in place. The courses that we offer are being accredited by world-renowned accrediting councils from US and Europe.
Right.
They are the non-profit organization which is being audited by Council of High Learning from US.
Right.
So there's no way that they can give out certificates because they'll be in trouble.
So it's great that there is a system in place to accredit and also to monitor what online learning or e-learning. But how do you talk to employers and of course convince them that these things are legit?
It's looking at our past track records. People who have studied and graduated online, they're already working in huge corporations like American Express, Emirates, Etihad, and all this big organizations around the world. So they have done their due diligence. They have done their checks on this company and this universities to find out whether are they legit or not.
So they've done all these checks.
Yeah.
Now you've started an academy. It's called the Ridge Swiss Academy.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah.
So with the Ridge Swiss Academy, there are certain courses that can be taken,
Yeah.
or diplomas, degrees, and masters.
Degrees and master at the moment.
Degrees and masters.
Yes.
So how is this different from any other online studying or e-learning?
Okay, our online degrees, BBA and the master's program, first of all, is being monitored by the world organizations like ACBSP and ECB. You guys can Google it.
ACBSP?
ACBSP and ECB, American Council for Business School Programs, and also European Council for Business Education.
Right.
Who also endorses some of Malaysian institution. First of all, it's it's being monitored by this organization, and we also have the track record of students who's already working
Right.
from our program.
You have a track record of
Yeah.
students who are already working.
Yes.
Right. And with this program, what's this program like? How different? What does this program offer? Or what does it offer that other programs don't offer?
Okay. The modules of our BBA programs and MBA programs are crafted by real life business people and also academicians.
Right.
Jared, let me ask you something.
Okay.
Let's say you're a master's student and a lecturer is teaching you Masters of Business Administration, but the lecturer has never done business in life. Does that make sense to you?
Right. I mean, I know where you're coming from because I see a lot of this. And a lot of you out there who are sending your kids for mass comm or broadcasting, you need to be careful where you send them to.
Exactly,
Simply
yeah.
because we get a lot of kids coming here to do their internships at Bernama, the internship with regards to broadcasting and TV and radio, and most of them don't even have basics of these
That's the problem,
platforms.
yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't done it, you shouldn't be teaching it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So our programs are crafted by real life street smart business people who has gone through the trial and errors, the
Right.
Gen X,
Right.
what we went through. So they sit in a council and they craft these modules. So, and it's written according to a human behavior. When you do online studies, let's say you're going to sit down in front of your computer for 45 minutes, right? They have taken into consideration of your work stress, your interaction with the PC. Okay, it's
All
not
the daily setbacks that we have as,
exactly, yeah.
as working class people.
Yeah. It's not like taking up the module from a physical class and uploading it to the internet and let people study. It's not as simple as that. It's being carefully crafted for online studies. Yeah. So
it's-
that's why we are different.
Right. So now it's being what do you call it? It's being promoted in Malaysia. And how are you doing this? How are the promotion campaigns being carried out? in
It's
Malaysia?
very good. As I said, we have started it with the Gen Y. We're educating them. We're educating them what is e-learning first.
Right.
By-
So when you say you're educating them, where do you go and educate them? Do you do it online? Do you have talks with them?
We do talks, we
Right.
visit the schools, we talk to the Form 5 leavers, we give them options. Because every year there's about 450,000 students sitting for SPM. I don't think everybody goes out there and applies for a college or gets admission into a college.
Right. Right.
Some of them can't afford it. Some
Yeah.
of
So
them
you can't afford a college. What do you do then? So how much better is this than price-wise than a college?
Okay, when you talk about e-learning, you're not paying for a building, you're not paying for the aircon, you're not paying for the 5-star treatment that you receive in a college. This is not for everybody, but someone somewhere might need this. We are looking at, it starts from 7,000 up to 15,000 ringgit
Right.
for a degree.
Right. And what does the Education Ministry have to say about something like this?
They basically, as I said,
I mean, if the math's done right, if e-learning picks up, universities will be running out of business. Correct me if I'm wrong here.
not
Physical,
everyone,
yeah,
the
physical
physical
uni-
business is still there, it's still growing. I'm sure they have their blueprint, they have their plans for expansion. If you look at the wave is coming from the first world country right now. You look at the first world country, what is happening right there? Education has become a huge business,
Right.
okay? So I don't know whether I'm allowed to say this or not, but that's a
Let's just say it. I mean, we'll find out when we leave the studio.
exactly. It's a huge business right now. It's a trillion-dollar business, all right? E-learning could be a small part of it, okay? It can be the secondary degree, as I said. It also can help those with the diploma, but they've been working in a company for 10 years with 1,800 or 2,000 ringgit salary. I'm sure you can't leave your job at the age of 35 and go and continue a degree for 3 years. That's absolutely crazy, right?
Right.
Because you already have your car to pay, your house to pay, your
So
kids.
the demographics that you're targeting, or the demographic you're targeting, are kids, school leavers.
School leavers, it can be school leavers, it can be diploma holders, it can be someone who's working
Right.
with experience. It can be SPM or diploma.
Right. But I would think that it would appeal more to working adults. Adults who already have working experience, and are they warming up to the idea?
Yep, they do. Because even the government is looking at a GDP, a per capita income of 15,000
Right.
US dollars. Now we are standing at 6 to 7,000 US dollars. How to achieve that? The only way in a job class for you to achieve that, to hold a degree or a master's.
Right.
Even degree, everyone has a degree now. So what's the next level? It's master's, right? So we basically give you that time frame of 1 year minimum. It can be 2.5 years, 2.5 years
Right.
to complete your degree.
Right.
So you as a working adult, you can come back after work, you can sit in front of your PC for 1 to 2 hours a day, and without you knowing, after a year, you're a degree holder.
Right. So go out there and think about doing it, simply because we are times are becoming tougher in Malaysia, and especially when it comes to getting a job, or when it comes to getting a promotion. And I've experienced that. You get people who can't string a sentence together, telling you that you need a paper to move up to the next level.
Yeah.
And it will happen to you at some point. If you're a working adult, you need to be equipped. If you're not equipped, so start being equipped. Now, for those of us who are taking courses online, or who want to take courses online, what do we need to look out for? There are red flags to look out for when you sign up. There are many different courses, of course, other than what you're doing. People who are doing courses, say in online writing, journalism course, whatever. What do you look out for, red flags, when you sign up for?
Basically look out for the false advertisements that you see.
How
the
do you know?
pop-ups,
Yeah.
the scams out there.
Right. So how do you verify the scams?
Don't transfer money without knowing whether the university that exists or it doesn't exist. So you need to know whether they really exist or not. So the only way to find out is you can go to the councils around the world. You can Google them.
Right.
Let's say it comes from US. You go to the CHEA. You can find out whether
So if it's from the US, you need to go to the CHEA.
Yeah.
Please write that down. CHEA.
Yes,
Yeah.
and also ACBSP, the accrediting council from America. They would be able to give you the information.
Right. You just go Google them, and can you write to them?
Yeah, you can write to them
and ask them about if it's a course based in the US.
Yes.
Yeah. So what about the other parts of the world? Say if you want to take a course from, usually it's US for us. US, Australia,
Europe,
UK, Europe.
Yeah.
Those of us who do sports science or whatever will be looking for some in Russia.
Yeah, true.
So how do you verify if these degrees are the real thing, the real stuff?
Yeah, as I said, you can write into them.
Yeah, but that's for only the American.
American and also Europe, they have their own council. Every country, they have their own councils.
Right.
And these people, they are in organizations, right? Non-profit organization, right? You also can Google them and write to them.
Right. So
find out.
That's some information for you. I guess we'll take another short break, and when we come back, we'll wrap this up. Of course, give you more information about e-learning, and talk a little bit more about Gen Y, of course, and things you need to know about e-learning just before we wrap the nation. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Jared Ratnam. Stay with us. Hello Malaysia, and welcome back to the nation. We're currently talking about e-learning, and we're talking about Gen Y. And whilst we're talking about e-learning, we also want to delve into MBA programs. A lot of people are moving into doing their MBA. When you're sitting in the office and just after lunch you're going through your Facebook page, or just chatting with a couple of friends in the office, and some smart friend of yours will come up to you and say, hey, have you thought of taking your MBA? Because I'm doing it now, Take it because it's really good. It'll help you do lots of other things. Seriously, if you don't understand what it means, let's find out what it means. What's this whole MBA thing about, the whole rah about MBA all about? No, What does it help you do? For some of us are just clueless about what it means. You know, it says with your MBA you can do better things, or you'll be promoted, so on and so forth. But essentially, what's an MBA?
If you ask me, that's supply and demand.
Huh?
That's supply and demand.
MBA is supply and
It's
demand.
supply and demand.
Okay.
When the market is being crowded with degree holders, what do you do next? If there is a job advertisement, there are hundreds of degree holders are applying for the job, and
So you go one up.
one up. Yeah. So when you go for your MBA, so you stand a better chance, because that's one of the reasons. Why do you do MBA?
Right.
First of all, it's knowledge. Of course, knowledge. Right? You can gain the knowledge through offline or online.
Right.
It doesn't matter. But you don't do it.
See, my studio director Sam is just asking me, what should we do to better our lives? MBA, Sam.
Yes, Sam, got that. So MBA basically it's going to upgrade yourself. You're upgrading and you're getting the insights of the management. You're getting the insights of the job that you're doing. If you're working in an executive level, you just do your job. You don't know how the business module works. Let's say you're with the Virgin Group, Virgin Atlantic. You're just a normal guy who's working as an executive. Compared to the guy who's in the management, he has a bigger responsibility to take care of the company's profit and loss.
It doesn't necessarily mean that he's smarter, having a bigger responsibility.
Yeah.
He just got up there the smart way.
Exactly.
Right. And you know, through MBA, all these things can be done.
Yes, can be done. And it can come from any industry. You can be from the engineering industry, or you can come from customer service. So MBA basically is a general degree, MBA degree.
So if I walk in for an interview with a paper, this is my MBA boss. You know, show it to the interviewer. What kind of information would it give the interviewer? That I'm a smart, or I'm really good at what I do?
Basically, you have done something extra with your life.
You've done something extra with your life.
Yeah, you want to move on. You're showing the interest that you want to move on in your life.
Right.
With the MBA, definitely the salary is going to be higher. Your position is going to be higher.
But saying someone who's completed his or her MBA, you know, how much better can he or she be from a normal employee in the office?
Knowledge-wise?
Knowledge-wise,
yes, of course, because you're going to do your thesis, you're going to do your research, you have to do your project paper. That will give you exposure compared to what you have done so far in your life. Right. Probably you might pick up a topic which someone who's never thought of it, and you did your research on that. That might help the company to progress.
Okay, so how when you submit your thesis, how do they decipher what's good, the good from the bad? I mean, I've personally read some, not that I understood what the thesis meant, research on certain things, and I noticed one thing which is very apparent to me, grammatical errors. You know, from line 1 to line 10 in page 1, there'll be like 20 grammatical errors. Is all that overlooked when you do your MBA?
Of course, the grammar part has to be corrected, one part of it. Second is what is the essence of your
intipati lah,
as
we say in Bahasa Melayu.
The essence, and also what is the outcome of your thesis, and how it's going to help the organization. Basically, they will look at that.
Right. So, before I let you go, we've got a few minutes left. You know, for those of us who are interested in going the Rich Minds way, you know, what is the Rich Minds way?
Global e-learning is our way.
Yeah.
E-commerce is our platform, and we teach and connect people worldwide. It's not only Malaysia. We are talking about borderless world now. We are talking about borderless economy. We are talking about borderless of everything. So this is the time for us to put it to work. Not just to talk about it, but put it in action.
Right.
And get the results out.
So if I were to do an MBA through the Rich Minds way, how much would it cost me?
MBA would cost about 40 to 50,000 ringgit.
An MBA would cost?
MBA, yes.
Okay, so this is the master's.
Yeah, it's not too cheap or too expensive. It's at the mid-range.
Right.
Yeah.
40 to 50,000 ringgit.
Yes.
How is that different from a university in Malaysia?
In Malaysia, I think if you're looking at the public university, it's much cheaper. But in a private universities, it can go up to 100,000 ringgit.
It can go up to 100,000 ringgit.
Yeah.
Right. So
MBA, the same MBA.
And okay, you said everything has been well thought of. Your stress levels are taken into consideration. Saying if you're a working adult and you're your attention span, your habits, and when they put this MBA together, it was all tailor-made
Yeah, it is
for
tailor-made.
the working adult.
True.
With that, how many hours a day do I have to spend in front of the computer,
They have
or a week?
they have 2 to 5 years to complete their masters.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So it's
2 to
depending.
5 years.
Yeah, 2 to
okay.
5 years.
So
The
you can do it
fastest they
as
can-
fast as 2 years.
Yes.
You can
And,
take your time, be a
up to
slow poke, and
Be
yeah,
5 years. Yeah.
5 years. Yeah.
So 2 hours a day,
Mm-hmm.
that would be good.
2 hours a day.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're having problems with the e-learning and you're not understanding certain things within the tutorials, will there be like a help center?
Yes, we do have direct calls to the universities. You can fix an appointment
Mm-hmm.
with the lecturers. They can do Skype calls, or
Right.
there'll be webinars.
Right.
You can go through. If you miss the webinars, it'll also be recorded and stored in your website.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So interesting times with Ridge Minds here in
Yeah.
Malaysia. As a person, on a personal note, for you, now that you've started this, you're a founder and a CEO of a company. I would, what you call it, sum up that you're doing very, very well for yourself. What's the next plan for you in terms of your future planning, the next 3 to 5 years? Where do you want to see yourself? Very basic question.
Yeah, I understand where you're getting at.
Yeah.
We don't want to stop in Malaysia.
Yeah.
We are looking at our surrounding countries like Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
Singapore, Myanmar, Vietnam.
Right.
So this is our market that we are looking at.
Mhm.
So we start in Malaysia, but we want to expand globally.
You're going to expand
Yeah.
globally. Right.
We already have inquiries coming in from Africa and all
Mhm.
that.
And I always
Yeah.
ask this to all my guests that come in.
Mhm.
I always like drawing lessons from people's lives, people who are successful.
Mhm.
For those of us, who sit every day, go to a job and complain about our jobs and want to make that move or move away from our jobs and do our own thing,
Mhm.
but we're all afraid of doing it simply because we lose a source of income.
Yeah.
We may never know where the next ringgit is coming from. We've got families to worry about, sick parents to worry about. What would be your tip or your advice for us before I let you go? We gave you a show. You need to give us some tips.
Oh,
before we let you
tips.
go. Yeah.
Decide what you want in your life. Be firm with it.
Mm-hmm.
Choose an industry. Be focused and go all out.
Right. Okay, let's just pick out one small thing. You said decide what you want in life, be firm in what you want. How do you motivate yourself in keeping yourself firm?
My motivation is basically I don't want to work for anyone.
Right.
I don't like to be told.
Mhm.
Probably I'm half Gen Y.
Right. Right.
So that's my motivating factor.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
So I have to come out with my ideas, with my aspirations. How am I going to avoid that? And of course, financially to be sound and stable.
Mhm.
So this has put me. It's like pushing a person into a river full of crocodile.
Right.
Do you think whether you know how to swim or not?
Mm-hmm.
Will you think?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You don't think. You just swim.
You just swim. You make it happen.
You make it happen.
Right.
So that's what
Mhm.
made me here today.
Right.
Just swim.
So just you throw yourself in the deep end, and you'll definitely find a
Yeah.
way to get out of it.
Do or do.
And then do or do. Yeah. So it's do or do. Well, if you need more information, you can go to a website. I hope we have, Sam, I hope we have a website to show on screen. So for those of us who'd like more information about Ridge Minds, what's the website?
Website would be fb.me/ridge.swiss.
Mhm.
It's RIDGE.SWISS. So we are connecting the Gen Y.
Right. So it's out there
So-
on the screen. We'll hold it there on the screen for you to write it down
Yeah.
or take a shot. I'll just put my face there if you take a shot. Right. And thank you very much. It was a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you in the studio. We do hope to have you back again to
Sure.
give us some insights into the World Wide Web and e-learning, of course. And of course, being an entrepreneur, I'm sure the next time you come, you will bring more information for us. We had an awesome video, but somehow we couldn't play it in a video about him, a 3-minute long video. Somehow we couldn't play that today. We're going to do that at some stage when he comes back into the studio. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank
It's
you,
a pleasure
Gerard.
having you.
Pleasure.
And it's always a pleasure having you with us on the show. Thank you very much for joining us right here on Bernama TV. This has been The Nation. I'm Jared Ratnam. You have a great day ahead.